Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Gauranga, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, very good, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare again Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Gauranga Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Give it to me. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari. Here. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Giri Baradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Giri Baradhari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Yashodanandana Jaya Braja Janaranjana Jaya Yashodanandana Jaya Braja Janaranjana Jaya Yashodanandana Jaya Braja Janaranjana Jaya Yashodanandana Jaya Jamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari 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 Jaya Jamuna Tiravanachari Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Shila Prabhupada ki jai, Jai Ram Vishnupad Paramahansa Sutala Sri Srimad Shila Bhai Charna Ravinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Jagat Guru Shila Prabhupada ki jai. ISKCON BBT founder Acharya, His Divine Grace Shila Prabhupada ki jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Acharya Sutala Sri Srimad Shila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Guri Vaishnava Binda ki jai. Namacharya Silovedas Thakur ki jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhakta Binda ki jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gop Gopinath Shyamakunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan ki jai. Vrindavan Mathura Dham ki jai. Mayapur Navadvip Dham ki jai. Jagannath Puri Dham ki jai. Alachwani Ramaniti Dham ki jai. Ganga Maiya Jamuna Maiya ki jai. Bhakti Devi Tulasi Maharani ki jai. Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Gaur Brahmanande Hari Hari Bol. Sima Wednesday Srimad Bhagavad Gita class ki jai. Gaur
My foot got numb, so repeat.
Okay.
Mine also.
Sit comfortably.
Sit down here, oh gosh.
So,
Yeah.
there is one, the Bhagavad Gita. Everybody has the Bhagavad Gita. Good.
There's one there.
Right here.
Yeah, right here.
Also, you can have your iPhone.
Oh, I didn't get my iPhone.
Yeah, you have your.
Just one? One Bhagavad Gita.
There is another one, Bhaktivinoda Thakur's.
Oh, the little one.
That's also very nice. iPhone is good also. So in the beginning, Hare Krishna, we have some devotees here also in the Zoom. Oh, we have quite a bit. That's good. Please fold your hand wherever you are and invoke the mercy of Lord Vasudeva. This is very scientific and sophisticated why we do things we do. Because our consciousness has to be purified. Jnana Shakti Pradhan Vasudeva Adhishtata. Vasudeva, he's Krishna, but has a particular function. So when you chant Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, you can perceive and see Krishna in the sloka, in the page, by the mercy of Vasudeva. Krishna, when you develop love for Krishna, then when you develop love for God, then he manifests in a form of Krishna. When you develop as a duty, perfect duty, moral duty, Lord Ram. When you develop other idea like judge. I do good karma, I get good result. Then is Narayan, Vishnu. So Krishna reciprocate with us according to our intention and attention, both. Not just intention or attention, both. So it's very important. So Srila Prabhupada introduced this Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya because somebody raised the point. Why not? Why do we pray to Vasudev? Why not Krishna? We love Vrindavan Krishna. Why Vasudev? Vasudev is like we don't know where he is. This is a wrong conception. It should be rather inquisitive that Srila Prabhupada introduced this. I wonder what is the philosophy behind, what was Prabhupada's intention. Because Prabhupada's intention is, what I understand, to make ourselves pure devotee. So to become pure devotee, we have to see things as they are, not what we want to see, we'll see. No. So Vasudev Bhagavan will purify. And the origin of Vasudev is the baby form of Krishna in cow barn place where the name was given. His hiding place, not in Nanda Maharaj's house. Because they were afraid that Gargacharya, who gave the name, he was afraid that Kamsa may find out that his enemy is born here. So Krishna was still a baby. And so from that angle, we can look at it. So you can fold your hand and you think that we are invoking the mercy of Vasudev, so our consciousness become purified. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 3 times. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Now, if you know that next mantra, that we invoke the mercy of not only Vasudev, we are also looking for Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Narayan, Naranarayan Rishi, and Vyasdev, and Mother Saraswati, Goddess Saraswati, and Srila Prabhupada. Why? Because it is a complete package. We want the Lord to allow us to come back. We are begging for his mercy. So that's one. Second is, Naranarayan Rishi is the form of the Lord who is doing tremendous austerity for our deliverance. If you recognize and appreciate, then the journey becomes easy. So we appreciate Naranarayan Rishi's wonderful mercy, because Uddhava went there and gave everything to Naranarayan Rishi. And then Naranarayan Rishi taught this to Vyasdev. Vyasdev, he wrote everything. So it's very important. Vyasdev, if he did not write only in the memory, we would have a problem. Because Kali Yuga memory is like, I don't know. And then Mother Saraswati, she is actually origin of Sambit potency, gives a connection with us. So that's very nice. And then Srila Prabhupada, who out of his compassion translated into a language we can relate. Also his own feeling called purport, Bhaktivedanta purport. So you can repeat after me. Narayanam namaskritam. Narayanam namaskritam. Naranchaiva narottamam. Chaiva narottamam. Devim Saraswatim Vyasam.
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam.
Tato Jayam Udirayet.
Tato Jayam Udirayet.
Nasta Prayesu Abhadresu.
Asakrayeshu abhaneshu
Nittam Bhagavata Sevayam
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Bhagavati Uttama Sloke
Bhagavati Uttama Shloke
Bhaktir Bhavati Naistaki.
Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki.
Okay, so this verse actually promises us that we'll have a bhakti when we do two things. We must remember. Serve the Bhagavatam, person Bhagavatam and Grantha Bhagavatam, book Bhagavatam. So you have to do two things. Not only reading, you have to also serve your Guru, Bhagavad. So we do Prabhupada Guru Puja. And if somebody cannot do Prabhupada's Guru Puja, then you can at least offer Pushpanjali in your house to Srila Prabhupada and sing the song. Guru Puja should be done. If you don't do Vaishnava Seva, the worshipping the Vaishnava, and only by reading, you will not get it. Because this is not something we can force to manifest. We can be a receiver. Receiver means the transcendental knowledge has to come down to our heart. So we have to do both. Serving Bhagavatam, also serving person Bhagavatam. It's important. Everyday Guru Puja should be there. Whether at home or temple, doesn't matter. You do, but you do. Otherwise, you will feel, you will learn a lot of, but satisfaction is not coming. You'll feel like I'm still like not satisfied. I'm still like busy in this world for something. The bhakti is supposed to give nourishment. Four things supposed to happen when bhakti appears. So why bhakti is not appearing? Because we are not serving the Vaishnavas. Now, in order to get this transcendental bhakti retained in your heart, three things you have to do. I mentioned this before. You have to first be grateful. Then second is you appreciate the facilitator. Facilitator here. And then willingness to learn, willingness to advance has to come from you. Then Bhagavatam says, if you have these three things, combined with these other three things, then you will become pure devotee instant. What is the other three things from second canto? Srinnata Shraddhaya Nittam. You have to hear every day. Not once a week, once a month, even though we do this once a week. But I do this every day. So I'm requesting every day you do it. In your house, you can do. Whenever, 10 minutes, half an hour, it didn't say time. But it says Srinnata Shraddhaya Nittam. But you have to have a faith also. Three things. You have to have a faith and you do this every day. Grinantasya chestitam. And what you read or hear, contemplate. If you do these three things, your consciousness will transform. It should not be, okay, class is over, go back my old lifestyle. No, that's not what it says. It said you have to contemplate. It's good. It's so wonderful. How can you not contemplate? It's the best. Spiritual life is essential. Material sense gratification is addiction. Big difference between addiction and essential. Addiction means is a curable, treatable, measurable. But spiritual is essential as a soul. But as a body, because everybody consider themselves the mind and the body, so they don't appreciate the spiritual knowledge. But at the soul level, you cannot live without it. So this is nice. Okay. So today we are beginning text 24. Chapter 4, text 24 to 33. Mother Puja, thank you for joining. We did that. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Thank you so much. Wonderful. So text 24, we all can read together just one time. This is one of the most important verse. If you want to become pure instantly or immediately, it's a very secret verse. Brahmarpanam Brahma Havir Brahma Agno. This is chapter 4. You have it? Chapter 4, text 24. Okay, together. Brahmarpanam Brahma Havir Brahma Agno Brahmanahutam Brahma Naiva Tena Gantayvam Brahma Karma Samadhina. Now I made a few questions before we read the translation and purport. See if we can catch it. So the question I made, what is the definition of matter? When you say matter, we are in the material world. When you say, oh, this is materialistic guy, we are spiritual practicing, they are materialists. What does that mean? Materialist means they deal with the matter, period. Spiritualist means they deal with the spirit. Everybody understood? So question is, what is matter and what is material? First question. This verse will answer and we'll break it. Prabhupada very nicely gave. And the second question we put, what is the definition of spirit or spiritual? We randomly say, this is spiritual. What is spiritual means? Third question is, can matter transform into spiritual? This is the art. And this is the bottom line of Krishna consciousness, ISKCON. ISKCON is nothing but Mahaprabhu's agent to transform the matter into spirit. How? We are doing this every day, but if we are aware, then we can transform everything in our life right now, from now on. It's very simple. So we discuss. And then next, another question we put, what is the process transforming matter into spirit and spirit can be converted into matter? Oh, so the suffering coming from the matter, material, and if you don't know the art, you will be suffering, staying here. And then the last question is, what is the level of consciousness needed to perform that transformation or jhana? This is what we put that. Okay, so can you read the translation?
A person who is fully absorbed in Krishna consciousness is sure to attain the spiritual king because of his full contribution to spiritual activities.
Spiritual kingdom, no? You read king.
A person who is fully absorbed in Krishna consciousness is sure to attain the spiritual kingdom.
Yes.
Because of his full contribution to spiritual activities, in which the consummation is absolute, and that which is offered is of the same spiritual nature. Purport?
One devotee says, the translation is like so technical, I cannot. But I said, that's what you do every day. You're just not familiar that this is what Prabhupada said. So we are going to retranslate to our language in practical life. Okay, go ahead.
Purport. How activities in Krishna consciousness can lead one ultimately to the spiritual goal is described here. There are various activities in Krishna consciousness, and all of them will be described in the following verses. But for the present, just the principle of Krishna consciousness is described. A conditioned soul entangled in material contamination is sure to act in the material atmosphere, and yet he has to get out of such an environment. The process by which the conditioned soul can get out of the material atmosphere is Krishna consciousness. For example, a patient who is suffering from a disorder of the bowels due to overindulgence in milk products is cured by another milk product, namely curds. The materially absorbed conditioned soul can be cured by Krishna consciousness, as set forth here in the Gita. This process is generally known as yajna, or activities, sacrifices, simply meant for the satisfaction of Vishnu or Krishna. The more the activities of the material world are performed in Krishna consciousness, or for Vishnu only, the more the atmosphere becomes spiritualized by complete absorption. Brahman means spiritual. The Lord is spiritual, and the rays of his transcendental body are called Brahm Jyoti. is spiritual effulgence. Everything that exists is situated in that Brahm Jyoti. But when the Jyoti is covered by illusion or Maya or sense gratification, it is called material. This material veil can be removed at once by Krishna consciousness. Thus, the offering for the sake of Krishna consciousness, the consuming agent of such an offering or contribution, the process of consumption, the contributor, and the result are all combined together, Brahman, or the absolute truth. The absolute truth covered by Maya is called matter. Matter dovetail for the cause of the absolute truth regains its spiritual quality. Krishna consciousness is the process of converting the illusory consciousness into Brahman, or the Supreme. When the mind is fully absorbed in Krishna consciousness, it is said to be in samadhi or trance. Anything done in such transcendental consciousness is called jagya, or sacrifice for the absolute. In that condition of spiritual consciousness, the contributor, the contribution, and the consumption, the performer or leader of the performance, and the result or ultimate gain, everything becomes one in the absolute, the Supreme Brahman. That is the method of Krishna consciousness.
Very nice purport, isn't it?
Beautiful.
Srila Prabhupada gives such a complete purport. Okay. So I hope we all got the answer. So let's refresh one more time. Our mood, our intention should be to make everything spiritual. So that we have to prepare ourselves. What's the intention? To make everything spiritual. So at the core of our existence, who are we? Material or spiritual?
Spiritual.
Spiritual. The soul is spiritual, is eternal. Okay. So at the core of our existence, we are spiritual soul. And Krishna is also spiritual. So then, in order to make everything spiritual, we have to have a tool. And the tool is called sacrifice, jagna. Now, jagna, sacrifice, is not fire sacrifice. It's a self-sacrifice. Can you remember that? We think, in my early life in Mayapur, we say, oh, there will be jagna, fire sacrifice. We think like sacrifice means fire sacrifice. But sacrifice is not fire sacrifice. Sacrifice is a self-sacrifice. So that should be our intention first. So once Prabhupada said, if you want to offer something to Krishna, it has to be spiritual stuff. You cannot offer material things to Krishna. In Bhagavad Gita 7.4, what did Krishna say?
7.4.
Why I'm bringing that? Because this is very important. So once we understand that Sri Krishna's energy present where? Everywhere. That Krishna's energy is all encompassing. Ultimately, all is Krishna's energy. Krishna is the spiritual. All his energy in relation to Krishna is spiritual. Otherwise, we cannot offer anything to Krishna. Now, I'm going to say very important things, and you have to remember it. That two ways you can spiritualize from matter to spirit, or material to spiritual. Two ways. One is compositional sense. Compositional sense means what is made of what. So let's see how this planet is made of, this material world. What did Krishna say, 7.4?
Earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and false ego. Altogether, these 8 comprise my separated material energy.
Okay. So what is composed of? Krishna saying, this material world, these 8 elements. But Krishna is saying that it is made of the material elements. So material world is made of matter. Now there is another secret in this verse. It says Brahma Arpanam, Brahma Havi on 424. Now the second point is application sense. So first is compositional sense. What is made of? What are you made of? You, myself, what is it made of? No, the soul is made of spiritual. The body is made of material. The mind is subtle material. Physical body is, the body is the gross material. So the mind, intelligent, ego, false ego, they're made of subtle material, and the physical body made of gross material. Everybody together? And the soul is made of spiritual. Now, how do we make it spiritual? See the science. It's a compositional sense is you first focus what things made of. Then second point is application sense. Application sense means what is used for. Okay, we cut some vegetable, we cooked it. The vegetable is made of material. Now it is used for offering to Krishna, spiritual. Then that food is no more material once Krishna is taken. Can you see that? This is what this verse boils down. It's so scientific. That material can be transformed into spiritual provided you know the art. So if the spiritual master body, because this is a big deal amongst the devotees, or an advanced devotee, his body is made of what? Material. But what he used that body for? Krishna's service. He is preaching. Prabhupada or ISKCON spiritual leaders, they are serving. I hope they are all serving all the time. Even they take rest, sleeping. For who? So that they can serve Krishna better. This body demand rest. This body is not made for uninterrupted spiritual bodies. So the mind is also has to be controlled. So when you use this way, then this sincere, serious devotee's body is actually spiritual. That time that body is a worshipable. Make sense? This is a very science. Srila Prabhupada also, I mentioned this many times, and I will mention this million times. Srila Prabhupada said there is a big difference between gold and gold plated. What is the difference?
One is
very expensive, valuable. Another one is little bit. There is an eternally difference between gold, but they look same. Why Prabhupada bring that example? They look same. People are eating and we are eating prasadam. They may look like same. Veggie burger prasadam, outside veggie burger or whatever burger they have. They both look same. Human are eating. But one is spiritualizing, another is materializing. Effect will be different.
and binding.
Yes, and one will liberate, one will bind. It's a very nice point. This prasadam will liberate. More you honor prasadam, it will liberate, and more they eat those unoffered food, it will bind them. They have to keep on coming and going, coming and going. Is that difficult or is easy? Yeah, this is very nice. So Srila Prabhupada said everything is spiritualized when we have, the conclusion is what? When we have a right consciousness. When we understand this science, that's why Bhagavad Gita, actually I love Bhagavad Gita. I love every book, but this Bhagavad Gita is very practical. That how we can spiritualize everything in our life. After the class, after some time, 9, 10 o'clock, we'll go to sleep. But I always talk to my mind and to the Lord. My Lord, for your pleasure, I need to give rest to this body. So please allow me to have a connection with you during my sleep that I never lost. You please protect me. So I never go out of your protection. If you pray like this body is for his pleasure, then you take rest. You have a wonderful rest. Actually, when I wake up, I see that 1 o'clock, 1:30, it's like fresh. You feel like hungry to chant. Really, there is a hunger to chant. So we have to mold ourselves. We have to have a right consciousness. That my Lord, for your pleasure, not like you go to sleep and before you go to sleep, you see Ugra Karma. Some Facebook or this, that, because one Mataji in the temple told me, I have a serious problem, help me. I said, what's the problem? Problem is, I want to watch just 10 minutes before I go to sleep. I said, why? Why you want to put something in your body which will disturb your mind? You have to hear Prabhupada's lecture, something, or read Bhagavad Gita before you go to sleep. Do some sati. You want to have a good time during the dream, during the sleep, then prepare yourself. Who prepares? Sattagun. They are adaptive. They adapt. Who cannot adapt this process? Those are maladaptive. Rajagun, influence of Rajagun. Nah, they will see some horrible, some violence or this, that, then they go to sleep. And they wake up, they're still tired. You wonder why they're tired. During the day, they're tired. They eat a lot of food, they get tired. Because their body, they don't know. Body need rest. Body doesn't need so much sleep. There is a science between this rest and sleep. Prabhupada knew the science so good that he would give the body. 3 hours he slept at night, but during the day he would give rest. 5 minutes, 10 minutes nap, just rest, flat, like a dead. His mind was always peaceful. This is a resting the body. If you do Ugra Karma, like a Rajasi, then it's not possible. It is not only the food we eat, what we hear, what we think, whole package. And this is a very science. Okay. I hope everybody has understood this point. What is matter? Matter when you want to enjoy separately from God, anything. Even the deity, even the altar. If you think this is for, material purpose, this is material consciousness. There is no spirituality reveals there. It is the spiritual vision creates the spirituality, not like this is just a marble deity, okay. Then it is material. It did not become. That's why Prabhupada says that even if you have all these 5 things, you need the last one, that you have to accept Krishna as your protector and you have a dependence on Krishna. You have a service attitude. Then Krishna become your Krishna, God. If you did not accept God, he may be there in the deity form, but he's not spiritual yet. Everybody got it? Okay. So what was the question? Question was, let's see. Question was, what is matter? What is material? That anything covered by sense gratification, selfish desire, nothing to do with God, it's material, period. So what is the definition of spirit? Anything that connected with Krishna is spiritual. And anything for his pleasure. Very good. Can matter be transformed into spiritual? Yes. If you offer it to him, you connect with him for his pleasure. Can spiritual be converted into matter? Yes. When you want a separate existence, separate sense enjoyment, separately from God, it is material. It doesn't matter what you do with it. So what is the process of transferring? Sacrifice. This doing things is intention, attention, and action, all combined. Only offering food to God is not enough. What is my intention? To please him. Not like ringing bell, come on Krishna, eat quick so we can eat. This means you have a good intention, but not perfect. So it is not completely pure. There can maybe some lingering problem. Okay, we'll go to the next verse. Very nice. Together, huh? 25. Daivam eva pare jagnam yogina parjupasate brahma yagno apare jagnam jagnena iva upajuhavati. Very nice. So we made a question. Very nice question. What are the category of sacrifices or jagna? What are the categories? This is very important because category shows the person's personal inclination fits into it. We can be 10 people in one room, but we have a different thought. One could be material thought, one could be spiritual thought. But we all are sitting in the temple, could be. You follow? So it's very important because like a lamp illuminates surrounding, but underneath the lamp there is a dark spot, nobody see it. Our mind is like that, dark spot. It could create a horrible things, not necessarily good. Okay, so question came, what is this? What are the categories of jagnas? All jivas are performing sacrifices, jagnas, to some extent. How do they differ? What are the result of destiny of each of these different jagnas? That's a very nice question. Then there are various traditions that hold various belief about God. Can you explain that? What does it mean to be a first-class yogi? Okay, so we are going to read the translation. You want to read? Keshav Prabhu?
Okay.
Okay, read louder.
We starting. Okay. Some yogis perfectly worship the demigods by offering different sacrifices to them, and some of them offer sacrifices in the fire of the Supreme Brahman. Purport. As described above, a person engaged in discharging duties in Krishna consciousness is also called a perfect yogi or first-class mystic. But there are others also who perform similar sacrifices in the worship of demigods, and still others who sacrifice to the Supreme Brahman or the impersonal feature of the Supreme Lord. So there are different kinds of sacrifices in terms of different categories. Such different categories of sacrifice by different types of performers only superficially demark varieties of sacrifice. Factual sacrifice means to satisfy the Supreme Lord Vishnu, who is also known as Yajna. All the different varieties of sacrifice can be placed within two primary divisions, namely sacrifice of the worldly possessions and sacrifice in pursuit of transcendental knowledge. Those who are in Krishna consciousness sacrifice all material possessions for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord, while others who want some temporary material happiness sacrifice their material possessions to satisfy demigods such as Indra, the sun god, etc. And others who are impersonalists sacrifice their identity by merging into the existence of impersonal Brahman. The demigods are powerful living entities appointed by the Supreme Lord for the maintenance and supervision of all material functions, like the heating, watering, and lighting of the universe. Those who are interested in material benefits worship the demigods by various sacrifices according to the Vedic rituals. They are called Bhava Ishvara Vadi, or believers in many gods, but others who worship the impersonal feature of this absolute truth and regard the forms of the demigods as temporary, sacrifice their individual self in the supreme fire, and thus end their individual existence by merging into the existence of the Supreme. Such impersonalists spend their time in philosophical speculation to understand the transcendental nature of the Supreme. In other words, The fruitive workers sacrifice their material possessions for material enjoyment, whereas the impersonalists sacrifice their material designations with a view to merging into the existence of the Supreme. For the impersonalists, the fire altar of sacrifice is the Supreme Brahman. And the offering is the self being consumed by the fire of Brahman. The Krishna conscious person, like Arjuna, however, sacrifices everything for the satisfaction of Krishna, and thus all his material possessions as well as his own everything is sacrificed for Krishna. Thus he is the first class yogi, but he does not lose his individual existence.
Very nice. Thank you.
More?
No, that's
That's-
end of this, that sloka. So let's discuss for a few minutes what is sacrifice means.
To give up.
To give up? No, that can be one meaning, but that's not what Krishna meant.
Okay.
Sacrifice means. So we can see from Bhagavad Gita, Krishna and Srila Prabhupada gives a very good meaning what is sacrifice. So first, then you can reflect whether you are sacrificing or not sacrificing. In one sense, everybody is working for someone. That is also sacrifice. A man is working, earning money for the family. That is sacrifice. The woman cooking, cleaning, maybe job nowadays, so much hard work mother does. She's also sacrificing for the family. The armies are sacrificing for the country. In our ISKCON society, the devotees are sacrificing for preaching, to distributing. You follow? The word sacrifice may be not commonly understood. They don't use that word, but sacrifice, everybody is doing the sacrifice. Bhagavad Gita explains sacrifice means Jaggabai Vishnu, for the pleasure of Vishnu. That word, Jaggabai, Jagna, Jagnabai Vishnu. In other words, the purpose of sacrifice is for the pleasure of Vishnu. First. Second of all, purpose of all sacrifice is to arrive the status of complete knowledge. Why? Because the suffering coming from bondage of this material world. And the bondage originally came from ignorance, avidya. Now to get out of ignorance, if you can get out of ignorance, you can be free from bondage. But to get out of ignorance, you need a knowledge. You follow? It's very scientific. We also do this. Now, the purpose, ignorance is the cause of bondage. When we say bondage, what does bondage mean? Sinful life. You know the word sinful means that which causes you pain. Sinful means pain, not happiness. We are laughing because we are, by Krishna's grace, we are somehow or other coming out of it. But sinful means it causes pain. People can be very busy in the family life, but deep down in their life, in their heart, they feel lonely, even though they are with all the family members. They feel lonely. Sometimes they feel boring, but they cannot say it because they don't know who to say, what to say. But they do experience. They feel boring. They feel lonely life. They try to explore something, but these are the cause is sinful nature. Now, what is the problem with the sinful direction? It drags us to the material existence. Ignorance binds and sacrifice to Vishnu liberates. This is the point. 3.9, Krishna says very nicely. Jagyartha karmana annatra lokayam karma bandhana. That if you sacrifice or do things for me, it will liberate you, Arjuna. Don't go to forest to gather knowledge. If you think going forest, even though Shastra says this, if you think going forest, you will gather knowledge, then all the trees, all the forest animal would be liberated. But Shastra says this sometime. What is that? Panchas Urdham Banam Brajat. When you are above 50, you go to forest. But that's not what it meant. Going to forest doesn't mean you become knowledgeable and you get liberation. No. It's a good logic, no? I thought. Otherwise, animals, they would be all liberated. They live in the forest. No, that's not what it meant. Arjuna misunderstood. That's why Krishna is correcting him. He said, Jagya Artha. Do something to please me. Otherwise, karma annatra, karma bandhana. If you don't do this for me, you will do things, it will bind you. Then Arjuna's question is, okay, if I do this karma yoga instead of jnana yoga to gather knowledge, then will I be liberated? He says yes. Tadartha karma kunteya. Next line, if you look at it, tadartha karma kunteya. If you do this way, karma, activities, that for my pleasure, then mukta sangha samacharet. You will be mukta. You will be liberated, free. Whether you go to sleep, I mean, every day everybody goes to sleep. You know, we have 14 devotees here in the Facebook, I don't know how many, but you all go to sleep, you have to agree. Every day, you go to toilet, you brush your teeth. Only thing I'm asking, ask yourself, why are you doing those things? Try to find a connection, how you doing those things for Krishna. You eating every day? Maybe not today. Today is Ekadashi. Try to find everything that you do, how it is connected for Krishna's pleasure, you're doing it, for Prabhupada's pleasure. That is called sacrifice. That is Jagna. It is follow. Jagna is not a fire sacrifice, Krishna is mentioning here. That is also there. That is one type of Jagna. That is not the Jagna. But Krishna is saying Jagna sacrifice means self, yourself. I'm brushing my teeth. Why? So that when I speak Krishna Katha or when I go to work or my school, people will not, have a bad breath or whatever. And because I am trying to be a good devotee, I don't want people to think like Krishna devotees are lazy, they don't brush teeth. That's a good logic. So you're brushing teeth off so that people will like me. That is karma. It will bind you. No, that is for, as a devotee, people will not have a bad impression. That is sacrifice. You follow? Everything. So without Jagna, can you be happy? We are coming. 31 verse. It will say, no. Without sacrifice, you will never be happy. Now question comes. 3 main important point in this purport we found. Prabhupada give a very nice at the end, you just read. Those who are materialists, they do demigod worship. They do. They do go to church. They go to namaz to Mecca. Different religion, they do their things every day. People are doing. Hindus are doing demigod worship. Muslim are doing the namaz to Mecca. And Christian doing some kind of rituals every day or believe in God. Once a week go to church. But when they're doing the things, if they don't have a spiritual consciousness, they are offering the material things with the material view, the result will be material possession. You follow? When you are offering to demigod, who are the demigods? Materialists, material representative of God, Krishna's representative. But if you are not aware that they are Krishna's representative, you only think, I worship this demigod. But he is a material, holding material position. His body is also material. Demigod body also material. The abode, the planet that they represent also material. And how you worship them with the material things. So what you do, you will get material. End of your sacrifice is also material. Now, if you consider them, as a representative of Krishna. You offer them Krishna Prasadam. The Krishna is transcendental. Krishna Prasad is transcendental. You offer those prasadam to some demigod, they will also benefit transcendental. And your consciousness, your destiny will go also transcendental. You follow? So only Vaishnava can actually create this spiritual atmosphere. Nobody else. You may be worshipping demigod or whatever, some god. But what is your conception? So important. So let's look at our question. What question we asked there? Okay. So first of all, when you have a literal sacrifice, there I mentioned many sacrifices. Literal sacrifice, what is that called? Nishkarma karma yoga. Nishkam karma yoga. When you have a worship of demigod, what is that called? Shakam. Shakam means you have a material desire. Why they worship demigod, you think? Long life, disease free, more money, good husband for my daughter, or whatever, things. This is called Shakam. Then offering soul to Brahman. By who? Impersonalist. You have to get out of the material, but they don't have any other way, so they just offer themselves to Brahman. They want to merge ultimately. Why? So that they will be liberated. The conception is correct, but application is wrong. They are ignorant too. Even though they are maybe scholar, they learn the Vedic philosophy, those impersonalists, Gyanis, Mayavadis. Yeah, they're scholar.
They feel that that's the way to happiness.
Correct. So restraining the senses, what is that called? Prabhupada also mentioned here. Naistik brahmachari. That is one type of sacrifice. You follow? Remaining indifferent to action of the senses. It's called grihastha brahmachari. Restraining.
The senses.
Oh, just like that Prabhu told to Prabhupada that my wife says no sex. Prabhupada said, why? He said, because you said without conceiving child, no sex. So Prabhupada said, of course, the question was, Prabhupada asked him in Mayapur, why did you go to prostitute last night? Now, nobody knew. Jayapataka Maharaj was shocked. How Prabhupada knew from this third floor of Lotus building, what is disciple doing 1 mile far, 2 miles far at night? He's fully aware. He asked him, why did you go to prostitute last night? So he gave that. His wife was restraining because she was very advanced. She's trying to please Prabhupada. But then Prabhupada says, it's okay. You can unite with her, but don't go to prostitute. So these are called, this is not pure bhakti, but these are called, you can say, grihastha brahmachari. Restraining senses and prana, life air, what they call Jnana Yoga sacrifice, Jnana Yoga. Some people are very severe in the vow, they practice with sincere vow, what they call. Just like a lot of Gujarati, Mother Dr. Alaka said, she told me, in Gujarat, they have a lot of people do every Monday fasting. Just every Monday, that's what she does. It is like a sambhav. It is not a pure bhakti because it's not related to transcendental Krishna. But it is better, at least some sacrifice is there. It is not going to relieve you from the misery of the material world, but it is better. I phone somebody, I'm going to unmute. Otherwise it making sound. Okay. Restraining eating. Those who are restraining eating, what they call? Yogi. Okay. Those who are restraining breathing control, they are called Astanga Yogi. or pranayam. So these are all different names. That's why we put, because in these verses, Prabhupada give a very nice. So now we'll come to this point. You just read, Bahu Ishwarabadi. Bahu Ishwarabadi. Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport, those who are interested in material benefit worship demigod by various sacrifice according to the Vedic rituals. They are called Bahu Ishwarabadi, believes in many gods. Now, as a Hare Krishna devotee, do we believe in many gods? Yes, we do. Because we believe in them. Try to understand, there is a big difference between Christianity or Islam versus Hare Krishna philosophy. Why complete? We believe in all those demigods because they are representative of Krishna for a particular department head. We never consider demigod as a origin source. You follow? But then why we talk against the demigod worshipper? Because they do not know the science of the truth. They consider each demigod as everything. That's why it is material. But we accept the demigod worship because they are department head. We respect them in that way. If Indra appears today, we'll bow down. Yes, you are Krishna's representative. Krishna said that. So we accept that. Now, there is a Abraham philosophy or Abraham, however you say, Abraham philosophy. The philosophy is that there is a false God and there is a true God. This is true. I read the history a little bit. That they believe there is a false God, then there is a true God. So how do you establish the true God? By destroying all the false God. That's what Crusader did. And also during Islamism beginning, they went to Mecca, that place, used to be a lot of demigod worship. We're not against demigod worshiping. We are against misconception of demigod worship. King Bharat, Maharaj Bharat, he would engage all the citizens. They are a demigod worshipper. They said, but they are part. Krishna's eye is sun. Krishna's another eye is moon. You see like this. And he engaged all the citizens. This is called Vaishnavism. This is Krishna consciousness. We are not against. Because the Christianity origin also, they actually destroyed all the demigod to make monotheism, one God. How? Destroying all. They think they are false God. But they're not false God. Demigods are not false. They are department head. You follow? So there are things to be understood properly, then we can properly respect. We're not against any religion, but against their philosophy misconception. Now we'll go to the text 26.
But maybe.
Okay, you have a question?
Yeah, I was thinking they focus in especially in accepting Jesus, the Christians. By accepting Jesus, that's the way to liberation. I mean,
that's okay.
Everything else is secondary. You know?
That's okay, but Jesus never said he is the origin source of everything.
He said he is the way, the truth, and the life. He
said he's a son. He's a tutor. He never said I'm the source of everything. Krishna said that. Ahami sarva jnana bhokta cha prabhurevacha. So Krishna declared that.
But if they accept Jesus as the way, I mean, or accept him as, well, they actually accept him as the God, you know, they accept him as God. So if they accept him as God, you know, like they have this Trinity, Holy Ghost, Father, and Son, you know. So the Son is part of the Trinity. So, but you know, they accept him as God, done different from the Supreme. How would that turn out? I mean, how?
Oh, I see. Well, Janmashtami is coming. Why not we address to your question? So when we think of Krishna as God, how do we accept? Did we just accept it? No. There is a science how you accept Krishna as God. Let's boil down to that. That will automatically clear other conception. So first thing, Prabhupada in Bombay, no, what do you call, groundbreaking ceremony of Juhu temple. Groundbreaking ceremony, Prabhupada mentioned this, that how do you accept Krishna as Supreme God? Prabhupada asked that question. Why? So some devotee, I want everybody on the online, please listen to this, it's very important. How do you accept Krishna as God? Why not Jesus as God? Why not Mr. Somebody, Mr. Jogi Baba is God? So Prabhupada gave a very nice scientific understanding. He said, how do you accept God? So they first said, well, Prabhupada, you said Krishna is God. Prabhupada said, I am your guru. I have to tell you who is God. So this is a one way to accept God. But there is a sixth principle you have to follow. One is guru. Now, somebody will say, there is a one guru who said he is God, Sai Baba. Now, you may say, well, my Guru Prabhupada says he's God, but he will say, no, my Guru said he himself is God. But Prabhupada said Krishna is God. So Prabhupada did not stop there. He said, that's not enough. This is good that you are accepting Guru, my opinion. That is good, but that's not enough, Prabhupada said. So what is the next one? Did other Acharya accepted that? Aha. So when you say Guru said Krishna is God, that's not enough, Prabhupada said. So other Acharya, other sages, authorities, did they accept? Let's see. Did Ramanuja Acharya say Jesus is God? No. Did he say Krishna is God? Yes. Did Madhacharya, Sankaracharya, all these big authority like Brahma, the first creator or generator of this creation, this material creation, Brahma, what did he say? Ishvara Parama Krishna. So authority also accepted Krishna is God. Not only Prabhupada said, the authority. Lord Shiva, he says, Vishnu Reva no Samshaya. Brigumani, all the sages, even Maya Devi, in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Haridas Thakur case, Maya Devi herself said, Maya Devi, Mukti Hetu Tarak Hoy Ram Nam, Krishna Nam Parak Hoy Kore Premodan. Only Krishna name is superior, is transcendental, beyond my reason. Maya Devi herself said, Krishna is beyond. Krishna is the origin. This is wonderful.
Yes.
Now, I have collected some collection. I'll tell you, I just collected some. These are very nice. I don't know if you know them. Aldous Huxley. He said Gita is one of the most concise and richest summary of the philosophy perennis there is. Therefore, it has permanent value, not only for the Indians, but for the whole mankind. He's a big philosopher. Mahatma Gandhi, what did he say about? He's also respected as a leader. Mahatma Gandhi says, the Gita has always been source of consolation to me. When there is no light approaching me, I open the Gita, a verse suddenly found, give me the back of my smile. So nice. Gita is the way to go. Henry David Thoreau is another famous. He said, how much more impressive than all the ruins of the Orient is the Bhagavad Gita. So nice. And many scholars, actually I found even Germany journalist who came to India, a famous journalist from Germany, who came and he went to different temple. Prabhupada said, when he came to Krishna temple, he said, he's the God. I went many temples, the gods are busy. One temple I went called Lord Shiva. I said, what God is doing? He said, he's meditating. Oh, he's busy meditating on something. But whenever I come to Krishna temple, what he's doing? He's enjoying. Oh, this must be God. This is an intelligent approach. Now, Stephen Hawking, what did he say? He says, more than ever before, this is very nice because Stephen Hawking today all the America, not only America, all over the world, they respect him as a very high caliber scientist. He says, more than ever before, people need the common sense and elegancy of Bhagavad Gita. Look at that. Even though he is a scientist, but he appreciated the Bhagavad Gita. He said, the modern media daily brings us foul rumors, incendiary disputes, senses of massacre, and popular scientist has proclaimed the human race is just chemical scum on a moderate-sized planet. They should read Bhagavad Gita. Wow, look at him. Is the Nobel Prize winner Stephen Hawking. He gave 1994 interview. He commented this. Then you can see even what's his name? The famous scientist. Oh, Krishna. Einstein. He said, whenever I look at Bhagavad Gita, I wonder the biggest mystery of the creation. Nothing is as equal to that. He appreciated. So we look at from different authority. They all accepted and glorify Krishna's opinion. Krishna is the supreme speaker. Now you look at, so this, even that Prabhupada said it was not enough. Scriptures. Did scripture says that Krishna is supreme God? Or Bible said, but Bhagavad Gita did not say Jesus is supreme God. But Bhagavad Gita says Krishna is supreme God. Brahma Samhita says Krishna is supreme God. You go to Vedanta, you go to Upanishad, Gopal Tapani Upanishad, glorify Krishna's supremacy. Shastra says, even Max Muller, the modern historian in UF, they study Max Muller. Max Muller glorified Krishna and Bhagavad Gita. Mr. Hambell, I was researching one time on this. So the authority, the scriptures, even that Prabhupada said something more. Yes. Did Jesus say himself he is the origin source? No. No Bible, no Torah, nowhere it says this. But Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Aham sarvasya prabhavo, matta sarvam pravartate. Everything comes from me. I am the source. Not only that, he says, matta paratarananat. Nothing is equal or above. Everything is below me. Tell me any scripture. Did Quran says this? No. Muhammad never said that he's God. He says Allah is God, but not a personal description, what Allah does. So there is some information is there. So we don't accept Krishna whimsically. Oh, because I was born in a Gurukuli now I accept. No, we have a scientific. Even that Prabhupada said is not enough. Furthermore, wow, what it could be, you think. So let's recap back. What did Prabhupada say? First one was?
The sages said.
First is?
First is
Guru.
Right. Guru,
Guru means the Shiksha Guru, Diksha Guru, Sadhus. Okay. Then
sages.
Authorities.
Right.
Authorities. Then
the scriptures.
The scriptures,
Then
3.
Krishna.
Then Krishna himself.
Then of course Arjuna.
No, then Prabhupada says something more.
Krishna demonstrated that.
Yes.
He lifted him up.
Did Jesus demonstrate it? That he married 16,108?
Right.
His unparalleled beauty, unparalleled opulence? No. Did Muhammad do? Did Guru Nanak do? Do anybody in this creation? No. Only Krishna alone. Krishna alone can claim this. He demonstrated. To Brahmaji, he shown how many millions of other Brahmas beside him. Krishna displayed this opulence. That's why I like this so much, that when this guy said to Prabhupada, Maharaj, you believe Krishna, okay, but I don't accept this because I don't see it. Prabhupada said, yes. So Maharaj, I don't see why. Prabhupada said, what is your problem? He said, but you are accepting. He said, Prabhupada said, look at my life. I enjoy the festivals. I enjoy the prasadam. I am having wonderful life. I accept Krishna as Supreme Lord. And after death, Krishna is Supreme Lord. I have safety. You are not enjoying your life. You are complaining. And after death, Krishna is God and you don't believe it. What will happen to you? This is a very scientific logic. But Prabhupada said Krishna displayed. But then he said one more thing. He said one more thing. Wonderful. What is it? I have to accept and develop faith and grow up with it in day to day that Krishna is my ultimate object of love. And I have a full dependence on it. When you have a this way acceptance, this 6, then Krishna is Supreme God. You follow? Is that clear? Any religion will compete with that? No. We are not saying we are superior than any other. No, we respect other religion, but other religion also has not completeness. They have to understand this. But they will not never find until they come to us here, Krishna consciousness. Okay. So it's already 7:37. It's already more than an hour. Should we go? If there's any further discussion, we didn't finish all the questions. But anyway, is there any reflection or question or comment from the audience? Krishna Balaram Prabhu, nice to see you. Hare Krishna. No question, comment? Okay, then I'll end with this because the time up. That pranayam is a big deal. This was also another question. I'll just give a little idea because pranayam. There's a secret. I must tell this. That even the yogi doesn't know what Prabhupada has given in the purport. This is in the text 27 that we're supposed to finish. That the purpose of pranayam or Ashtanga Yoga is to create the consciousness, to make the consciousness to go inward. So there are 2 types of people in this world. One type looking happiness outside through the senses, through the object of sense. Majorities are there. And those who are looking happiness inside, they are called devotee. So 2 types of people, pure devotee and potential pure devotee. We don't say we don't reject them. They say potential pure devotee. Because they all belongs to Krishna, all the souls. So in this sloka or 2 sloka combined together, I'm going to give a little summary. In Ashtanga Yoga, there is one word called pratyahara. Asana, jama, niyama. What to do, what not to do. You follow? Jama, niyama. Asana, how to see in a proper posture. Pratyahara, pranayama, dhyana, dharana, dhruvavana smriti, samadhi. These are the 8 processes. Pratyahara means where you cut off yourself, soul, from the matter, body and mind. Follow? The idea Patanjali gave is very sophisticated. We are not against. And Krishna also supporting this. Krishna is not dismissing the Hare Krishnas are the best. Krishna didn't say that. Prabhupada didn't say that. Krishna says, no. They also trying to separate the matter. The goal is to get liberation. Because this material world is full of suffering. And to get liberation, you have to cut out the matter from the spirit, from you. So these are the different process. And Krishna is recognizing. Krishna is not condemning them. So we have to be careful. We should not think we are better.
Well,
Just like for an example, in morning walk, one person is doing some shavasana. No, not shavasana. Shishasana. Head down, legs up. So Prabhupada says, oh, this is some yoga somebody is doing. And one of the Western body devotee says, I won't say the name because I love him. He says, oh, this is not devotee, Prabhupada. These are not our men. Prabhupada said, why? Why you condemning? They are doing something at least. They're trying to elevate their consciousness. They're trying. Maybe not will be able to just by this, but at least appreciate that. I like that. You want to be just sit ideal and eat and be lazy? Prabhupada was very happy. So we see Prabhupada, they appreciate the other people's process. We are not condemning anything because they are also coming from some source, from Veda. But what the essence that Krishna is focusing here, very interesting. He says this Ashtanga Yoga is a stage where one stage, Jama Niyama Asana Pratyahara. Pratyahara means you literally cut off the matter and the soul separate. So first, you want to live in this world. You have a material body. And the material world is made of matter. Yes? There has to be harmonious connection. How do you do harmonious? That's called Hatha Yoga. You heard the word Hatha Yoga? Hatha. Almost every city in America, they have Hatha Yoga. Hatha Yoga means they're harmonious living with the nature and physical body. But you are not the physical body only. You have a subtle body. So there has to be another harmonious communication between subtle body, mind, and the physical body. Because physically, maybe you are healthy, but your mind is crazy. So are you good, happy? No. Well, you are not sick physically, but still mind is disturbed. So there has to be communication between the physical body and the subtle body. That's where Ashtanga Yoga comes. You follow? Krishna is recognizing that. Then you have a subtle body, but that's not enough. You are the soul. There has to be some communication between the soul and the subtle body. How do you communicate this? That's called Jnana Yoga. Knowledge. So you study Bhagavad Gita, this is Jnana Yoga. Well, that's not enough either. Why? Because there is a super soul in your heart. There has to be another communication. Make sense? How do you communicate? That's called Dhyana Yoga. Meditation to super soul. And then when you go little further, then you come to Bhakti Yoga with Krishna. So there is a gradual progression. The material world, the material nature with the material body, Hatha Yoga. Material, okay, you elevate yourself, consciousness, you follow. Elevate the subtle body and the physical body. What do? Pranayam, Ashtanga Yoga. Then subtle body to the soul body, Jnana Yoga. It will separate. Then Jnana Yoga, the soul to the super soul, Dhyana Yoga, meditation. Then super soul to Krishna, when the love or that sentiment develops. That's called Bhakti Yoga. So this is a ladder. There is a yoga ladder. So this is very interesting that Krishna says that Patanjali gave this, but Patanjali has a purpose. Purpose was that some or other you move your consciousness inner world. Now, when in the yoga system, when you breathe, you hold it. Now, what are you doing this? You actually pushing the air down. When you breathe in, you pushing the air down. You understand? And if you can, you have to hold it. Why it is holding? So that the air can go every part of your body. If you just breathe very quick, your lifespan is very short. Proof, dog. You know what dog and cat? Very breathing so quick. They die. Their lifespan is 12 years, 15 years max. That's it. They die. Elephant can live 100 years. You know why? Because they breathe very slow. Now, this class is not about this, but Krishna spoke about this yoga. This 4-5 sloka in this chapter is all about this yoga, pranayam. And because there is a value of it, we have to remain healthy. Like if your mind is disturbed, you're going to go to temple or something, do little pranayam for 5 minutes. If you chant one rounds in your mind while you're breathing in. This is what I do sometime. Then you can hold it another rounds inside. Don't breathe out. Let it pass through all. Just like a food we eat. When we eat food, food produces blood. But do you know that blood can reach through the vine, and what blood carries that the modern science doesn't know is the consciousness. See, if you have a bad food in your body, the consciousness will be corrupted. You wonder. If you have a prasadam feeding the body, then the blood will be also a prasadam type of blood. Then the consciousness flows will be very nice association of prasadam. That's why Prabhupada made this, that prasadam is compulsory. Why we should have prasadam? Never eat without offering, because you're putting poison inside. You'll be sitting somewhere with your wife or husband, and you feel like not happy. Why? You may be making money, you made a lot of money, but you're not happy. You wonder, because consciousness is polluted. You have to eat only prasadam, honor prasadam, nothing else. This is a very, very science. Why Krishna gave, Krishna gave 17 sloka in Bhagavad Gita, I found, talking about this yoga. Why so much? Because there is a value of it. Krishna would not speak otherwise. And Prabhupada give big purport also. So back to this. Then after you maintain this, then you breathe out double sometime.
Oh, Prashad
But what Prabhupada give a very interesting, when you chant, if you can inhale and exhale, because one air, prana and apana, one air pulls the air, one yoga pulls the air down, it's going down. You putting the air down. And the other, apana, is pulling it up. You follow? This is the two first. If you can blend it in, that is the real yoga. How do you do it? Prabhupada said, chanting. And I see that sometimes I don't even realize whether I'm breathing or not breathing. I'm sure many of you happen. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. You're not stopping this. Maybe once in a while, but you're not stopping while you're chanting. Because while you're chanting, this inward and outward is blending, and that is the best. That is where consciousness goes innerward. That is the purpose of pranayama. So the real pranayama will be by the devotees. And those who are doing pranayama, they should be taught that they should chant. Then this inner and outer, both blended in, you don't even know. Prabhupada is so genius. Of course, Prabhupada knew it, otherwise he would not put it in the purport. That how genius that technique is. So anyway, I'll end here. I see Param Karuna Prabhu raised hand. You have something, Prabhu? Oh, I'm very
so
happy.
geniusly you explain this thing, pranayama. I was reading this chapter every time and I was having no understanding what is this going on, why Prabhupada is making chanting as a inward and apana and a prana and apana, and how is this inward and outward are balancing. Now it makes so sense, Prabhu. So I have a question and one comment that Prabhu, when you say when you are chanting, and sometimes I also follow the same thing, that I breathe and I do like, I chant in the mind and say, let me show you. Hare, I do like this. Is it then, is mental chanting allowed, or it is good or not? Because when we're pranayaming, then we cannot change the rounds, but we have to chant mentally. But
Prabhuji, you turn off, otherwise you breaking off. I cannot understand what you're saying.
Yes, Prabhu. So
okay,
when you are
better.
saying, yes, you got my question, Prabhu? Yeah, so when
no,
you are
I
saying,
could not
Prabhu,
understand.
When you are saying that when we chant our rounds, sometimes I also practice the same thing and it works very well. That when we chant, then when we do inward inhaling, then we have to stop chanting by mouth. We have to chant mentally. And when we are exhaling, at that time also the chanting is in mind. So I think when I do that thing, I feel that those rounds are not counted. Those mantras are not counted. How should I understand it, Prabhu?
That's why I'll find that purport in Bhagavatam. One purport Prabhupada writes that those who are chanting or in the temple dancing or doing japa, this pranayam is perfectly blended in, that the ultimate result of pranayam plus will be there with you. Don't even focus when you are chanting about breathing in and out. You will see, like, sometime you will come to a point that you didn't even realize that you're breathing in or not breathing. Because
Yes,
this
Prabhu.
inward and outward actually blends in.
Yes, Prabhu, I understand and I really appreciate this thing. But when the mind is clear, so before chanting, I do pranayama, that inward and exhale for a few minutes. But then I chant. There is a lot. I want to suggest everyone that when we do, not, of course, Prabhu, not you, but when we do pranayama, it makes a lot of change in our chanting, and our chanting become very clear. But this inward and outward exhaling become balanced only when our mind is in control. Otherwise,
Correct.
we can feel that we have to chant and breathe, and we feel that suffocation, So you are right. Inward balance, outward balance should there. But if the mind is not in control, Prabhu, then its suffocation comes up. So is it legit? I'm asking this: is it legit to chant one mantra or two mantra mentally and or 5 mantra mentally and chant mentally and do pranayama?
Well, what I understood from the commentary of Baladev Vidyabhushan also, important principle is whole process of vayu or air is directed inwards. Nowadays, people use lom bilom. Are you familiar with that? Maybe not. By practicing this, respiratory disorder will go away. That's true. Prabhupada also put actually Kumbhi in the purport. You'll see Kumbha, Pak. Prabhupada mentioned that. Prabhupada is aware of it. That's why he mentioned. Similarly, by doing something else, other disease goes away. This thing may be happening. This may be beneficial also. But the point is that it is not the primary goal of doing all this activity. All this regulation of life air is to turn our consciousness inwards. That was Patanjali's original idea, and that is also Krishna's original idea of mentioning.
Then, Prabhu, why we feel sometimes pranayama more easier than bhakti? Because prana control the mind and chanting become more easy than without pranayama we do, then it becomes difficult to chant our mind. Or even as you told that do pranayama 5 minutes rather than going to temple. I found myself that my anger goes down, my mind becomes cool.
Yes.
So I feel
yes.
that why bhakti is not playing game in me and why pranayama is playing game in me.
Because bhakti is actually doing higher than that, actually, in sense. That bhakti ultimately want to completely purify. Pranayama only balance the mind. Because the soul, Atma, is subjected to the functions of 10 kinds of air at work within the body. This is perceived through the breathing system. The Patanjali system of yoga instruct one on how to control the function of the body's air in a technical manner, so that ultimately all the functions of the air within become favorable for purifying the soul of material attachment. But the relationship with Krishna, pleasing to Krishna, will not come from pranayama. It has to come from bhakti. So if you can blend it, it's good. Because Bhagavatam, actually, there is another chapter now, Krishna reminded, where it says this, pranayam we should do. It is in Bhagavatam. At the end it says, but if you accepted a guru, bhakti should be adopted. Then nothing is required. But in the beginning also, if the pranayam helps you, anything helps you to concentrate, do it. Do it. There's no harm.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. It makes so sense. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Any reflection? No more. We'll just end here. We'll see you next week. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Vancha kalpatarubhesya kripa sindhave vacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Samveda
Thank you,
Vaishnava
Prabhuji.
Vrinda ki jai.
Jai.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Jai
Krishna.
Haribol, Haribol.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhuji. For arranging. Yes.
No, boy, come on, hey, come on, human.
Shaniwara